Hi guys, this is Mary.
And this is Brad.
And welcome to Fitness Tested. Be sure to like and subscribe to keep up to date with all of our new reviews and videos on all of our shoes. This week we're talking about the new HOKA Clifton 9, and here it is. We're so excited to have it in store. There is a little bit of a friendly competition between the two of us on who likes it more, and I gotta say it's me. All right, so I'm gonna jump into a couple of stats on this shoe. This is the 9th version, brand new, super excited to see it. This shoe is a neutral shoe and it is a mid-cushion shoe. Great for everyday runs, long runs, and it is nice, soft, plush, and ready for you.
So one of the things that Mary talked about being a neutral shoe is it doesn't have that support on the inside of the foot. One of the things that HOKA does, they use what's called an active frame. So actually your foot does sit down inside the shoe. So if you've never worn a pair of HOKAs, one thing you might notice is that it does kind of hug up the foot a little bit more, so it is a little bit different than some of the shoes that you might have worn in the past.
This shoe has a 5mm drop, so it does sit a little bit lower than some of your other 8, 10, 12mm drop shoes, so it does have a little bit more of a natural feel. Sometimes it can feel like you're sitting farther back in the shoe or a little bit farther down. I personally like this. I feel like it's a really natural feeling and something that works really well for me.
I've been wearing the shoe. This is actually, I've worn all 9 versions, and I think, and we'll kind of get into this in a little bit, but I think this is one of the better updates they've done since probably version 3. As far as the cushion goes, as far as the support goes, as far as the upper goes, I think this is probably one of the better versions in the last few years.
Talking a few of the stats on this shoe, it has lost 4 grams of weight, so it is super, super lightweight now. The women's is going to be 7.3 ounces for a women's 9, and the men's will be 8.7 ounces for a men's 11. So super, super, super lightweight for a mid-cushion shoe.
A lot of the mid-cushion shoes that you're going to see that are, and I wear a size 13, a lot of the shoes that you see that are this big and have this much amount of cushions are in that going to be that 10 ounces, 11 ounces, that sort of thing. They did change the foam a little bit in this shoe. It is a lot bouncier. It's a lighter weight foam, but it is a little bit more resilient than some of the years past. I did a run in it this morning. I did 7.5 miles, and the thing that I kind of noticed with it is that you don't sink into the shoe as much as some of the previous models. It doesn't feel quite as soft. It's a little bit firmer than some of the other models in the lineup.
Yeah, I think this shoe is fitting a little bit more on that firm side. It is kind of nice, so if you aren't a fan of how mushy some HOKAs have been in recent years, this is definitely a nice, refreshing update. It feels great. It doesn't feel like you're gonna be fighting or working against the shoe to be on your long run or your recovery run. A
couple of things that you might notice with the shoe is the upper. The upper has changed quite a bit. You'll have to kind of see it in person to see this, but it is 2-layer jacquard knit. But what you get is you get these slits here that actually are very, very breathable. You can actually see through the shoe, so that I think does take away from some of the weight as well, and it does vent very, very quickly.
Going back to some of the upper and just some updates on this shoe, it is fitting again a little bit differently. Brad thought it was fitting pretty normal. I thought it was fitting a little bit more snug. I have a really narrow foot, so I tend to have to really yank on the laces to get it tight. I didn't have to do that as much on this update. Again, it's a little bit different for everybody else. But speaking of widths, the shoe does come in a standard or wide option, so it does have some options for folks with different size feet.
I have always noticed that HOKAs fit pretty big in the heel, so I do have to use that heel lock to sink in a little bit more. I didn't really notice it that much with this shoe. Again, it's really nice and easy to pull on because that does allow you to pull that on really easily. It does take away some of that pressure off the Achilles as well. Version 8 does actually have that pull tab, like I said, on that back of the Achilles. You'll notice that it is significantly bigger on version 9. What that does, again, is it allows the shoe to come off and on a little easier. It does take a little bit of the pressure off the Achilles. The upper is completely different. So that is one of the major things, is that upper is very, very different. Because I think it is a little bit lighter weight material, that's where you're gonna probably notice the fit is gonna be a little bit different on the front, on the forefoot, so primarily in the toes. You do have a standard mesh in version 8, where you've got the jacquard knit in version 9. So if you've never tried a knit shoe on, this is a really good opportunity if you've worn HOKAs in the past.
while the Clifton 9 is considered a mid-cushion shoe, it is really, really similar to a lot of high cushion options without the high stack or the high price point. So I would say this is most similar to the Brooks Glycerin if you're looking for something that is a little bit lower priced and just as nice in the feel and cushion. So the price point on this shoe has gone up. It is now $145, so still a really good option. I do think that you can get your money's worth out of this shoe just because it does last so long. I've had a pair of Cliftons in the past where I accidentally put about 600 miles on them because I love them so much. And that is my win on how I am better at loving the Clifton than you, because I wore them to all of my runs. I did literally every run in them, and then I'd also wear them around the store. They do last a really long time, definitely worth the $145 price point.
What I won't tell you is that on version 3, I did put 1,000 miles on a pair. So if you I don't recommend that. You do not do that.
Do not do it. Do not recommend.
Like I said, I've been wearing this a long time. I've been waiting for version 9 to come out for a long time. I saw it last spring. I'd heard some rumblings that it was going to be a little bit firmer in that forefoot, a little bit firmer cushion. Version 8, I wasn't super psyched on the amount of squishiness of the shoe. So I've been waiting for the shoe for a long time, and I'm very excited when it showed up on my doorstep the other day. Very excited.
So we have these available at all of our locations or online, shop.fitnesssports.com. There will be a link below if you'd like to purchase directly from our website. Otherwise, come on in and try a pair on.
Thanks for watching, guys. This has been Fitness Tested. Make sure to like and subscribe so that you keep up to date with all of our upcoming videos. And experience the difference.
We love you.
Feel. We love you.
So
you smell so good.
You ran in that. I would not do that.